Hi, how's it going? I'm Mohammed Abdel Motlib, and I'm doing my project on Air France KLM Group. So a little bit industry overview. Air France KLM is part of the airline industry. It is a public traded company that is listed on the Euronext stock exchange. So publicly, 2020 was a devastating year for the airline industry. The effects of the pandemic were so grave, the airline industry will take many years to recover from it. The International Air Transport Association expects net airline industry losses of 47.7 billion in 2021. This is an improvement on the estimated net industry loss of 126.4 billion last year in 2020. So a little company overview. Air France KLM Group is an airline group that is currently a leader in three main areas of activity: passenger transport, cargo transport, aeronautical maintenance. The company is the leading group of international traffic on departure from Europe and the Mediterranean, allowing it to serve leisure destinations. And the company consists of three airlines: Air France, KLM, Dutch Royal Airlines, and Transavia, their low-cost subsidiary. It offers access. It offers its customers access to a network covering over 250 destinations with a fleet of 554 aircraft and 104 million passengers carried in 2019. Air France KLM operates up to 2,300 daily flights, mainly from its hub at Paris, mainly at its hubs at Paris, Charles de Gaulle, and Amsterdam Schiphol. Due to the global pandemic, revenue and profits are expected to diminish from the year before. In 2019, revenues were 27 billion euros compared to 2019 revenues were 27 billion euros compared to 2020's diminished return of 11 billion euros. In 2019, profits were 293 million euros, and in 2020, there was a loss of 7.1 billion euros. So not really that good. Stockholders. The majority shareholders are the French government with 14.3%. The Dutch government is the second majority shareholder with the 14%. And coming in third place is between Delta Airlines and Chinese Eastern Airlines, and they each hold 8.8% of shares. And you'll learn a little bit later on why that is. SWOT analysis. Strengths. Both KLM and Air France have a strong brand name, as KLM is the oldest airline and has been around since 1919. Air France, being the national airline of France, Air France KLM have a strategic partnership and is a member of the SkyTeam Alliance. Some weaknesses are, strengths. SkyTeam Alliance is a global aviation partnership comprising of 19 member airlines and forming a global aviation network operating 15,455 daily departures to over 1,000 destinations in 177 countries. Weaknesses. Air France KLM has poor branding on the low-cost airline Transavia, and Air France also has poor employee relations, leading to pilots and staff members going on strikes. Opportunities. Air France KLM wanted to reinforce their partnership after the pandemic. They entered into a strategic partnership with Chinese Eastern Airlines, and that's why they hold 8.8%, because Delta is also part of that strategic. Delta is also a strategic partner of Air France KLM. Travel restrictions to North America affected its joint venture with Delta during the global pandemic. So that's what led them to make the strategic partnership deal with Chinese Eastern Airlines. Threats. Strong competition from Lufthansa Group, IAG Group, and Middle Eastern airlines such as Qatar, Etihad, and Emirates. Air France is facing social unrest as strikes continue due to labor costs. Labor costs are already higher than fuel costs of all major airlines like Air France, so they're struggling to come up with a good deal. Industry analysis. Porter's 5 forces. So competitive rivalry is high. Threat of new entrants is low. Bargain power of suppliers is high, and bargain power of buyers is high, and threat of substitutes is also high. The value chain. So 2019, Air France KLM built a central knowledge management system. The information is used by service agents to guarantee an up-to-date and tailored service towards customers. Customer experience approach. Their customer experience approach is to integrate sustainability with the entire value chain, offer customers sustainable and innovative products and services. So the resource-based view. Intangible assets are IT development costs. The group has tools required to enable tracking by project of all the stages of development and internal and external costs directly related to each project during its developmental phase. Tangible assets consist of aircrafts, equipment, machinery, lands, and buildings. Industry life cycle. Air France, KLM are in the maturity stage of the industry life cycle as they're in an established company continuing to evaluate and adapt. Air France KLM has strategic implications to expand to the Chinese through this partnership with Chinese Eastern Airlines. In 2018, Air France KLM CEO Jean-Marc Janil resigned due to the labor strikes. The group still has ongoing labor strikes due to the 7% pay increase until 22. Cabin crew and staff are disgruntled with the deal in place. Air France is struggling to offer a better deal due to the global pandemic. Ben Smith is Jean-Marc's successor. He's widely popular among employees with 70% popularity rate. Sorry. I do not think they learned from the labor mistakes as there are still ongoing strikes that are affecting international and domestic flights. That once they have recovered from the global pandemic, they will offer a better deal. Viva Technology Lab, Air France KLM Group invited startups from all over the world to work on strategic themes focusing on travel restrictions of the future and respond to the problems imposed by a constantly changing sector. 310 startups proposed solutions in response to the question posed by the group. 32 startups will be selected and invited to present their project at the Air France KLM Future of Travel, and the Viva Technology Lab will select 4 winners to invest in. Ethical sustainability efforts. KLM's ambition is to have zero emissions from ground operations by 2030. KLM has invested in the electrification of ground equipment. 62% of KLM's ground equipment is now electric. Tests have been conducted at Schiphol Airport with the use of electric taxi equipment. And then with the help of KLM and the Delta University of Technology made the maiden flight of its revolutionary Flying V model aircraft. Innovation. Air France KLM supports business revenue and profit growth through examples of innovation by the group include, their central knowledge management system that I mentioned earlier. And they also introduced blockchain into the travel industry. And in this way, in a strategic partnership with Winding Tree, the aim of the agreement is to provide blockchain technology a more profitable travel offer for customers, which is more profitable for suppliers by reducing the number of intermediaries. Recommendation. My recommendation for the future strategic direction of the group would be to increase their presence in Asia until North America's travel restrictions are lifted for their passenger flights. I also believe that it would be in the best interest to continue to innovate their cargo business, as this business is extremely promising. I believe that through the strategic partnership of Air France KLM, they are well positioned to begin travel to countries that will soon have travel restrictions removed. I believe it is also in the best interest of the group to come to a deal with staff members to avoid any other strikes that could affect air travel. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have a good day. Bye.